Welcome to the Nordic Mythology podcast. I'm Daniel Farrand, owner of the company Horns of Odin. I'm joined in person once again. We're going to get used to this by
Slowly
Dr.
getting
Mathias.
used to being in your presence.
Yeah, so Dr. Mathias Nordvig.
Yes, so welcome to the show. We are joined by Katrine from Kalandra, and also at Vardrona, you're singing for them as well. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
The sun's perfectly come out. Just as we start, the sun comes out and
Shining right in my face. But it's good. It's fine. I have sunglasses if it gets too bad.
This was a talk I wanted to have before what we're going to talk about anyway. Like, I wanted to speak to you again after our episode. It was fun.
Yeah.
But I think I had a little bit of a moment the other day when you were playing, and I messaged you straight away. Like, we need to talk, and we need to do like a little interview whilst we're at Midgardsblot. So we'll get into that. Firstly, I guess, what's it like to play at Midgardsblot and kind of on these grounds and the history behind everything that has?
It is very special. Like, I've obviously been here before with my family, had a picnic here. It's beautiful, but I heard of. I've been following Midgardsblot for some time, and I emailed Runa, the CEO of the festival, I think in 2018 or 2019, and I was just like, we had received so many no's from so many festivals before, and I just decided for this email, I'm going to just be honest. And I was just like, hey Runa, we are not necessarily metal enough for metal festivals, we're not folk enough for folk festivals, we're not prog for prog festivals, we're not Norse enough for Midgardsblot perhaps, but I just want to send you our music. What do you think? Has this music video, here we are on Spotify. And she heard it and was like, oh, this is beautiful actually. No, you will fit right in. We will get this going for 2020. Yeah. And then nothing happened, and 2020 arrived, and there was no Midgardsblot, but then we released our album, and then there was no Midgardsblot for 2021 either. And now for 2022, we opened on Wednesday, sort of headlined the Valhalla stage, and we went from having not many festivals to having one of our favorite festivals ever, and it's a big deal. It was a really big deal. It's special, and when I performed with Vardruna also on Thursday. I keep composed and professional throughout the whole set, but I am a quite emotional person, and I enjoy that too, and I allow myself to feel it. For the end of Helvegen, I fall apart, and it's special. It's really beautiful.
I imagine you must get that emotion from finishing the set, emotion from the crowd, but then also from the mounds, from everything here and being where we are. I guess that has to play a part of it as well.
Yeah, and there's something about the song Helvegen as well that sort of is quite relevant to this place, and
It's a very awesome song, I can tell you. I actually quote it. Quote a little bit of it from
here we go again
in my in my book, and it is profound words in that song.
But it's one of the way, Aina said before you play the song, it's about death, and everybody has lost somebody.
Yeah.
It's something that relates to every single human on the planet. At some point you lose somebody, or it doesn't have to be somebody, it could be a pet or anything that's something close to you. Like, we all go through it, so it's relatable for every human, and that's why I think everybody gets so attached to it.
Yeah, and then I've met some people, because we are wandering around the area, me and Jorgeir from Kalandra as well, wandering around, and I'm with my mom and my dad, and then this girl comes up and she's like, I just want to tell you a story. I gave birth to Helveg and I had this natural birth. And she just started like going into detail, and my mom is also really emotional, and she was like, oh God. And my dad was like, and I was like, yeah. Oh God. I mean, people are just coming up, sharing their stories, and
Sharing too much sometimes, maybe.
maybe, but I like it, and it means a lot, and Helvegen is special to us. I mean, making the cover it just came about, but obviously we had a great piece, a great original to work with when we made the cover with Kalandra. And making an original is much harder. Yeah. So I just want to credit Vardruna and Einar and his work. It's very nice when you receive praise for a cover that you did, but it's easier to make a cover than it is to make an original, and the original is already so profound. So yeah, I
think that leads us on nicely to, I guess, me sharing my story that I shared with you. I guess I'm not going to go into any details on here, but it's no surprise to people that watch and follow me, Matthias, that I've been through. I've lost someone close. And Matthias kindly brought us up onto this mound where we're sat here. We came up, was it Wednesday? And there was a group of friends, and you took us through a ritual for everyone. I don't know if you want to explain what that is and what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, you can share some details. One of my good friends asked me if we could do a little ritual to say thanks to this place, to the mounds, to the spirits that live here, and connect with each other and the world around us in sort of what is in modern terms called a blot. That's of course not a blot in the original bloody sacrifice kind of way.
But you take something old and create something new.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So we had a little sharing session where we felt the ground and we felt the wind around us, and spoke some true words, and that's when we then were bathed in the sound of Kalandra.
Yeah.
It was from the stage over there.
It was a beautiful moment. I think, like you said, we travels around from person to person, and everybody says their little piece, and we're all friends there, and everybody kind of cares about each other, and you hear these very nice words by people that you care a lot about, kind of talking about their own things that they want to dedicate it for or ask for. And I could feel it as you're getting round, the pressure building, and then obviously Alyssa spoke some words before me, and as it came around, it got to me, and then I started to hear you sing, and I was already feeling on edge, and I could hear your beautiful voice traveling from the stage, and it was like, fuck. And even though we were all in this ritual, we very connected to everything, and I was thinking of what I was going to say, and kind of look for healing and all these things, and I could not get this conscious thought out of the back of my mind of just hearing this come across, and it made the whole thing that much more special. It definitely brought me to tears and added to the whole thing. And then when we finished, I messaged you that evening. I was like, we need to talk. I've just had this really profound experience that you have no idea. Like, you had no idea about it. We can call it coincidence, you can call it fate, you can call it whatever you want to, but it was just, you happened to be playing, we happened to be here.
You could also attribute it to my planning skills.
It could be. Oh, done. That takes away from it. I'm not putting it down to that. No, but you had, like they say, you had no idea that this connection was happening to your music as you were playing, and that goes to all of you. It's a band, it's a collective, it's not just yourself. And it was this experience, this connection that I guess we had that you had no idea of.
Yeah.
And that connection, I guess, will always be there for me. Like it was this special moment that you were unwillingly a part of.
Yeah. It means a lot to me. It's very special that the music that we make and the things that I write can resonate so much with people, and that this introspection is something that is sort of like it spreads, and people also have introspective moments. And healing is a big part of it. I am very much into healing. So and writing and making music is definitely a form of healing for me, but also like crying and not being ashamed of it and talking about emotions and how we're doing. I've just discovered that communication and connection is it can really, really cure like the deepest, darkest wounds inside. It really can, and it's so important. It's invaluable.
It is. It definitely helped. Do you think you'll ever get used to people spilling their like deepest feelings over to the music, I guess?
I don't know if I would get used to it. I would have to switch off and take a little distance, which could be good. Sometimes I manage to like, that's nice, but also I'm also hijacking the initial emotion that wants to come through, which is empathy and sympathy. So if I hijack that and wait for later, I will have missed. I've missed an authentic moment that I won't necessarily feel again later. So that's why I allow myself to be like, no, just let it come out. I feel emotional right now, and that resonates with me. So that's why I just allow it to come through.
I think that's a very healthy approach.
Yes, I think so too. For me, that is healthy. When I play with Vader, I can tell that the rest of the band is like, yeah, that was a good gig. Yeah, feeling good. And I walk out after Helvegen being like,
Does that happen every time?
Not every time, which is a bit of a relief. Yeah. It's kind of tiring. But I remember this one time, I think I was playing in Cambridge in March 22, and there was this, there were two fans, they were a couple, and they messaged me after we had played, like, are you okay? I think I mentioned this maybe in the podcast that we did, because it was kind of funny. It seemed as if sort of Vardruna was like holding me hostage, and I was crying on stage like, and they're like, are you okay? We could see you crying. And I'm like, oh no, I'm very good. I'm just emotionally very happy.
I think that's interesting because we spoke to Einar and Lindy both yesterday, which videos will be released, and both of them we talk about how Vardruna tap into this emotional side with people, and it seems that it is because you as performers are so raw on stage, and you're willing to open up. I think Einar said he offers his heart on a platter, and it's here it is, you know, and that kind of links back to what you're saying there, being, you know, you're all in this very emotional state and very vulnerable, and that then pulls out to the audience who reciprocate that, it seems. We all get lost in it, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. When you're projecting that out there, you know, people can feel it. They can relate to it. And this is, as we were talking about with Einar, this is what we see in the crowd. You know, I feel it myself when I'm there. I was standing there with my hands up. You know.
People relate to human emotions.
Yeah.
And when you can feel it, you don't. Sometimes it doesn't have to be said. You can just feel it. There are things that, I wouldn't say I'm particularly a spiritual person, but there are certain things that you can just sense or feel, and you just get a vibe.
I understand what you're saying about that spirituality, because I wouldn't say I'm super spiritual myself. but there is a need. I do have to acknowledge the fact that there is a need within me to be spiritual. And I can't hijack that. So I have to be aware of it. Like there is a need here, in here.
You have that need, and then you say that you're not a very spiritual person.
No, like I don't. For example, I'm not religious.
Right.
And I grew up, and I still believe in science, and I always want to have proof before I just run away with a thought.
But what you're saying is that you're not crazy.
But I do think that there is a healthiness in becoming a bit more intuitive and listening to your body, because your body tells you what you need to know. Like yesterday, or no, on Wednesday when you had your ritual, you just feel like something is coming up, and I have this lump and it wants to come out, and then it does, and that is the healing, and that is necessary. So your body tells you everything you need to know, and I think it's very wise to pay attention to. Obviously, every single person is different, and everyone has different needs. But I think we need, or I'm not going to speak on behalf of anyone. I'm going to speak on behalf of myself. I need to definitely balance knowledge and sense with also being intuitive and somewhat spiritual. I think it's healthy.
I think it's the label or name that you give to things, that there are certainly things that maybe we can't explain, or like I said before, you can feel emotions almost, and maybe it's that we've lost sense of like the hypersensitivity of like the small emotions that people feel. Maybe it's like just the tiniest change in the face or the body language that we as humans just pick up on innately and go, that person's sad, even though they're not crying, it's not a major thing, but then we kind of put that down to these, being able to read emotions when it is just a scientific thing. You can just, there is an explanation for it, and I guess it's whatever you label it up as, I guess.
I mean, when you say that, I'm thinking about who I was 5-6 years ago. I thought that I could do anything. I thought I could be tough, and I could take on the task, and oh no, I don't have emotions. I just do. I work hard and I do, and I never fall apart. I obviously fell apart. It was like hard work, doing well, and then total crash. Coming up, total crash. Coming up, total crash. And that was like my whole teenage life. And then I thought, oh, this is just my teenage years. It will stop when I reach my 20s. And it didn't stop, because I didn't stop and listen to what I need. I'm actually, as soon as I acknowledge the fact that I am actually a quite sentimental, emotional person, should we just acknowledge that and just try to work with what I've got instead of like trying to be something that I'm clearly not.
I think it's too often seen as a weakness to be emotional, or I think probably particularly for like,
I think it's such a shame.
For like probably from like a female perspective as well, like it can be seen as like super negative when it's not. It's not I think we all need to be a little more open and honest with our feelings. But again, that toughness probably got you to where you are now.
Yeah.
Like getting through the peaks and the troughs and the drive, it probably helped get
to like bite your teeth and be like, I'll just apply again next year.
But that's what you need, is to never take no for an answer, I guess, and then eventually get there.
Yeah, but now I allow myself to be a bit disappointed. If I feel disappointed, if I didn't get something that I've dreamed of, then it's like, that is okay, you know. Time, I was thinking about this the other day, that actually there is something very beautiful about allowing yourself to let success come when it comes, and not chase so much. Like I was chasing so hard, and like you said, maybe that has gotten me to where I am, sure. But I also think it wouldn't have lasted if I didn't check inwards at some point.
It's usually when you stop chasing so hard that the doors actually then open.
Just comes.
Yeah.
For some odd
Just-
reason.
I think we spoke about that a few times. It feels like we spoke about that a few times this week. That rather than just chasing fame or chasing the success, once you start actually just producing what you want to produce and putting this out there and going, this is what I've created, enjoy it or not, then people connect with it more and it becomes this bigger thing.
This is where I'm struggling also with my spirituality, because maybe I could say it's just karma, it's just the universe will just provide.
Maybe.
But maybe not, we
Maybe
don't
it's
know.
just
Or maybe it's just the fact that people feel that you are relaxed.
Yeah.
Your product seems relaxed, whatever you're selling, if it's music or something, if it's wood carving or whatever, like taking your time with your art and not making yourself mentally ill in the process.
That's an important one.
Yeah.
I know a lot of academics who could use to hear that too. You know?
Absolutely.
Myself included.
I think we all.
I think we've all been there. Unfortunately, it's something we have to learn, but I think we could talk more about it and sort of make it more. If they could just like make it more aware in schools.
Yeah.
Imagine when I just going off on a trail
You're getting inspired.
now,
That's
but
what's happening.
imagine if kids came into class and everyone just sat there like, "Good morning, George. Good morning, James. Yes, sit down," and everyone was like, "Okay, we are going to start our morning day with a little stretch. Yes. How are we feeling today, Julie?" And everyone just like, if every kid just learned to like, tune inwards.
Center yourself.
Yeah, and then by doing that, maybe also in the process, you'd be able to come to have compassion for others, because you've learned that every morning is important to for myself as well. I think, if we could teach that in schools.
Yeah.
I actually have at times tried to make my students do a little bit of calisthenics in the classroom, just because I got bored by how bored they were. So they just react incredibly awkward to it. So, but I think if it were a common practice, then it would.
Because everything is a habit in a way.
Yeah.
We can become used to anything.
And you know, I just think it's very interesting you bring that up as like something that could happen in schools, because you know, what is a school situation, especially, you know, the older you get, the more you're expected to completely relinquish your bodily functions to be like this brain that's sitting there and absorbing knowledge, just going whoop whoop whoop, right? And in the meantime, your body is decaying on this chair, and with it all its emotions and life and you know, the power of humans. I'm having an epiphanal moment.
I know. As much as you are, we actually have to wrap this up, because we're meant to do our panel talk in 15 minutes.
We have to go do panel talk in 15 minutes. It would be awkward if we were
If we weren't there for our own show, but we will definitely pick this up.
Yes.
Again, we're welcome back to talk to us anytime, and we'll do a longer show. And
This was lovely. It was lovely to sit here.
Yeah.
It felt magical and special.
Exactly.
it's a lovely place. So
The inspiration of the mound.
thank you very much. Thank you for.
Thank you so
the
much for having me.
experience.
It's been a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
I'll see you around at the festivals.
Absolutely.
And good luck.
We'll drink beer and hang out.
Yes.
Yes.
Heilung later.
That's it.